Somewhere right now, someone is typing a resignation letter. They've done the math, 6 months of savings, a side hustle that made $400 last month, a dream that feels bulletproof at 11 p.m. and terrifying at 7 a.m. Here's what nobody tells them. The people who actually escaped the paycheck cycle didn't quit first and figure it out later. They built the exit before they ever touched the door. This is not a video about hustle. This is about architecture, the quiet, unglamorous kind that's already holding up every person you've ever admired for their freedom. Let's talk about why one income is the most dangerous financial position a person can be in and what actually replaces it. Right now, inflation has quietly eaten into real wages for years. Layoffs hit six-figure earners just as hard as everyone else. Entire departments disappear in a single email, and the average person is discovering something uncomfortable. A job was never security. It was a single point of failure wearing a security costume. One employer, one manager's mood, 1/4 of bad earnings. That's the entire foundation most people are standing on. So the smart move isn't recklessness, it's redundancy. Before you remove the floor, you build a few more floors underneath it. That's what this video actually is. 10 income streams, not 10 get-rich schemes. 10 different categories of financial gravity. The kind that keep pulling in money whether or not you feel like working that day. Let's break down how the system actually works, because most people misunderstand income completely. Income isn't one thing. It's 4 different mechanisms wearing the same word. There's active income. You trade hours for dollars, and the moment you stop, it stops. That's most jobs. There's leveraged income. You still work, but you're multiplying your effort through other people, systems, or content. A freelancer with 3 clients instead of 1 employer. A creator with a video that keeps getting watched. There's passive income, money that shows up whether you touch it or not. Dividends, royalties, interest, and there's asset appreciation, value that grows quietly in the background while you sleep, argue with your family, or watch television. Here are the 10, sorted roughly by how much effort they demand upfront versus how much they eventually give back. 1. A skilled freelance service, writing, design, marketing, coding, fast to start, but is still active income at its core. 2. Digital products, templates, courses, spreadsheets, built once, sold indefinitely. 3. Content with monetization, YouTube, newsletters, podcasts, slow to build, brutally scalable once it works. 4. Dividend investing, boring, unsexy, and one of the few streams that pays you for doing absolutely nothing. 5. Real estate income, either direct rental or REITs for people who don't want tenants calling at midnight. 6. Peer-to-peer or private lending, higher risk, but a stream almost nobody talks about. 7. Small e-commerce or dropship operation, low margin, high competition, but real cash flow if run correctly. 8. Licensing intellectual property, music, photography, patents, rare, but disproportionately powerful. 9. Consulting or coaching in a niche skill, monetizing expertise you already have without a job title attached to it. 10. A micro business with systems, something small enough to run part-time, but is structured enough to eventually run without you. 10 categories, not 10 side hustles you juggle simultaneously. That's the part people get wrong. Here's the uncomfortable math nobody puts in the thumbnail. Building even 3 of these streams to meaningful income, say, replacing 20% of a salary each, usually takes 12 to 24 months of consistent effort, not weeks, not a weekend course. Most people who attempt this quit around month 4, right when the numbers still look embarrassing. A newsletter with 200 subscribers, a dividend portfolio paying $11 a month, an Etsy shop with 3 sales. That's the valley almost nobody survives, because it's the point where effort and reward are furthest apart. The graph looks flat for a long time before it looks exponential, and here's the part that sounds like a joke but isn't. The person who successfully replaces their income rarely feels rich while doing it. They feel tired, slightly behind, and occasionally convinced the whole thing is a mistake. That feeling isn't a sign of failure. It's the actual texture of building something real. Now compare that to what gets sold online. The hype version of this topic promises passive income by Friday, screenshots of 4-figure days, a course that costs $200, promising to teach you the one stream that changed everything. The reality is far less cinematic. Dividend investing requires capital most people don't have yet, which means you often need active income first to fund the passive income later. Content takes months of silence before an algorithm decides to notice you. E-commerce margins get eaten alive by ad costs that increase every single year. The irony is almost poetic. The people most desperate to escape a job are often told to start with the income streams that require the most capital, the most patience, or the most luck. Meanwhile, the boring options, freelancing a skill you already have, or automating a service you already provide, get ignored because they don't look impressive on a screen recording. Nobody makes a viral video about consistent, moderately boring cash flow, but that's usually what actually pays the rent, while the sexier streams are still incubating. Zoom out, and the stakes get bigger than any one person's spreadsheet. We are watching an entire generation redefine what a career even is. Full-time employment used to mean stability. Now it can mean concentration risk, all your financial eggs sitting in one corporate basket that can be reorganized without your input. Multiple income streams aren't a lifestyle trend, they're a hedge, the same logic an investor uses when they refuse to put their entire portfolio into a single stock. But hedges have a cost. Diversifying your income also diversifies your attention. Every stream you build is a stream you must also maintain, update, defend from algorithm changes, tax season, and your own inconsistency. 10 income streams sound like freedom. In practice, they can quietly become 10 small jobs wearing a costume labeled freedom. The people who actually win this game aren't the ones with the most streams. They're the ones who eventually let 3 or 4 die on purpose, so the 2 or 3 that work can get their full attention. So here's the real question, the one that never makes it into the thumbnail. If financial security now means building an entire ecosystem of income instead of relying on one paycheck, are we actually more free than the generation that had a single stable job for 30 years? Or have we just traded one kind of dependency for 10 smaller ones, each one quietly demanding a piece of our attention in exchange for a security that was never guaranteed in the first place?